Dandadan, I know, weird name, is an anime that I've been looking forward to ever since it was announced. I've heard many great things about this series, from its artwork, top-notch comedy to its lovable characters, and how could I forget that one of the main characters gets his, well, balls snatched.
Are you serious?
More on that later. I've seen a lot of people say that this is part of a new big three, along with Sakamoto Days and Kagurabachi, and I wanted to hold off on reading the manga to experience the anime. After watching the first episode, all I can say is this is good, really good. This anime focuses on Momo and Ken, two high schoolers who couldn't be more different from each other. Momo is bold and confident, believing in ghosts only because her grandmother is a psychic. Then we have Ken, a socially awkward person obsessed with aliens. I don't think it takes a genius to see that these two are gonna fall in love someday. From what I've seen of their interactions in this episode, I really like these two characters. Momo and Ken give off a wholesome vibe and they're both very likable. I'm really interested to see how their relationship will blossom in such an insane story like this one. I would also say part of the reason I enjoy their chemistry so much is because of their voice actors. The voice acting is perfect. The actors bounced off each other so well that you can feel their dynamic just from their voices alone. The voice actor for Ken is the same person who voices Tanjiro, and bro, this man's range is impeccable. The premise of the first episode revolves around Momo and Ken challenging each other to prove whether ghosts or aliens are real. They assign each other locations where there have been reported sightings of ghosts and UFOs. This is where I have to give a shout out to the author and the studio because they balanced the tones of this episode incredibly well. The episode started off with a slice of life tone and seamlessly transitioned into horror and creepiness. It doesn't feel forced at all, it feels natural. I would say part of the reason the tone works so well is because of how the episode incorporates urban legends. I'm not just talking about Japanese myths. It was hinted that this show will include creatures from all over the world. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster or other stuff like that. That just makes this anime hype as hell because the number of stories we could get with these two characters is pretty much endless. Momo and Ken, in trying to prove who is right, end up both being right. Both aliens and ghosts exist and they end up getting caught, and bro, these creatures are freaky as hell. First, we have Turbo Granny, an evil spirit with super speed who's obsessed with Ken's balls. Then there's an alien race known as the Serpo, whose species clone themselves because they have no females, only males. You already know where this is heading. So get this, they wish to acquire human reproductive organs through...
Hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
I'm not even gonna continue. I'm not trying to get demonetized. I've already heard how batshit this series is, but bro, I couldn't believe what I was watching. The stuff going on with Momo had me shocked. It was so uncomfortable to watch that I had to check the genre of this anime, and it's a shonen. I'm really surprised the author got away with this in the manga. At first, I thought this was all being done for shock value or something, but after doing some research into Yukinobu Tatsu, I found out he was an assistant to Fujimoto, the author of Chainsaw Man. Now that makes a lot of sense. Chainsaw Man and Dandadan share that similar goofy and inappropriate sense of humor. In Chainsaw Man, it was all about boobs, and here it's balls.
I mean, what the fuck? Every time I come over here, you only gotta take me through this homosexual rigmarole, man, with your terminology, man. What the fuck is wrong with you, man?
But judging from the first episode, where it differs from Chainsaw Man is that Fujimoto made the events of that series way more serious and darker, especially after the Katana Man arc. If you know, you know. The impression I get from Dandadan is that it's way wackier and more lighthearted. So the aliens try to hypnotize Momo into getting aroused, but before they can go on any further, Turbo Granny pops out of Momo's phone, possessing Ken. From that point on, it literally turns into monsters versus aliens. I'd never heard of Science Sorry before this anime was announced, and I know I'm not the only one. One thing I'll say is this anime is gonna take the studio to new heights. Everything from the action to the animation looked fantastic. The backgrounds also looked great, and the camera work was so dynamic and immersive. For a studio I'd never heard of, the production is so clean. The best part of this episode for me was when Turbo Granny was biting off the mechanical parts of the aliens. It was so ridiculous and badass at the same time. I love it. The crazy thing is Turbo Granny and the Serpo are voiced by Luffy's voice actress and Zoro's voice actor. That's amazing. In typical anime fashion, Ken tries to sacrifice himself by offering his banana for the aliens to take.
Bro, what did you just say? You're gay! You're
He's gay!
No did he. He's been a loner for most of his life, bullied for being into UFOs, but Momo was the only one who acknowledged him, so he's willing to do anything for her. The funniest part was when he tried to play hero in this moment and got humbled really quick and he just realized he's not built like that. That shit was hilarious. The aliens continue to stimulate Momo's brain, which triggers memories of her grandmother teaching her to perform a ritual to release her chi. She was ridiculed by kids her age and by the boys she liked, which made her think that her grandmother was a phony medium, but she suddenly awakens her psychic powers, which made her acknowledge her grandmother's work all along. And I really like that piece of development from Momo because it shows that she did believe in her grandma, even if only subconsciously. She was raised by her grandmother who taught her everything about the spirituals, so there's that. I do find it ironic that Ken and Momo both have powers completely opposite to their beliefs. It looks like Ken is gonna get a new spiritual transformation soon, while Momo's powers were awakened by the aliens, or maybe those abilities were lying dormant all along. It's also interesting that both she and the aliens have psychic powers. There could be some setup for that in the future, I don't know. The aliens get their asses whooped and Ken gets his dick stolen by Turbo Granny. Bro is still cursed by Turbo Granny, and if they want the curse to be lifted, they'll have to go back to the tunnel to retrieve it. This is how you do a first episode. Dandadan is so unique and distinct from any other anime this year. The first episode was comedy, sci-fi, supernatural, and a battle shonen all at once. Dandadan is so unhinged yet enticing at the same time. It had me laughing, cheering, and confused all within 24 minutes. One thing I really appreciate about Dandadan's first episode is that it gives you everything straight. You know exactly what you're getting. There are certain anime where you have to watch a few episodes before it gets good, but it's the special ones that hook you from the very first episode. Dandadan is in that category. Looks like ghosts, aliens, and bananas were all we needed.
What did he say?
I'm glad I went into this blind. Before this anime even came out, I saw so many people saying it was going to be anime of the year, and you guys might be onto something. I'm excited to see where this anime goes, man. This is going to be a ride for sure. Thank you to everyone who watched the video. Like and subscribe for more Dandadan content like this. Also comment your thoughts on the first episode. I want to hear from both the manga readers and the anime onlys. Let me know if it lived up to your expectations. Until next week, stay blessed.